They're going to take it, play action. They're going to throw it down the middle. They have Johnny Marquez open. He's at the 40 of Canyon. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. Johnny Marquez will score. What an answer for the Dumas Demons.
A one-play answer, no less.
He's back to pass. He's looking downfield. Now he throws it down the middle. Dumas is there with an interception. And that's Johnny Marquez with the ball coming back toward the Dumas sideline. That may be, is it Johnny?
Yes.
All right, and he's at the 20, and he finally gets thrown out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Back to pass is Mills. He throws it across the middle. Has a receiver open. It's going to be caught. Back to pass is Mills. They throw it back to Escarcega. He on a screen play. I think he's in for the score. Yes. Touchdown, Dumas Demons. Back to pass. He's looking deep downfield. He's throwing it deep downfield. Has a receiver open. It's going to be caught into Canyon territory. Here comes a man in motion back to the left, but they're going to hand it to Eduardo. He has a big opening. He's in for the score. Touchdown, Dumas Demons, Eduardo Hernandez. He's back to pass. Here comes a blitz. He steps up into the pocket, and now he throws it down the middle looking for Emino Marquez. He has it. He has it on the 1-yard line.
I think it's touchdown.
Touchdown, Dumas Demons. Here comes a receiver back to the right. Colton takes it, rolls to the right, throws it. It's going to be Coley on the catch. Second down and 1. Back to pass is Colton. He throws it over to the Canyon sideline. It's caught, thrown out of bounds. Saying there's 2 seconds on the clock. This will be the last play of the game.
O-line's got to block him out.
39-yard field goal. Here we go. Zamarippa ready to go. There's the snap. The kick's on the way, and the kick is... It's good!
Yes! We did it! We beat him, baby!
Yes,
Let's go!
Yes,
Send them home! Send them home! Let's go!
You're watching Dumas ISD TV.
Welcome to edition 10 of the Coaching Show with head coach Aaron Dunnam. Getting ready for game 10, district game number 4. I'm Zane Powers, joined by the head coach of the Dumas Demon football team, Aaron Dunnam.
Hey Zane, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Coach?
I'm good.
Hey, Coach, Dumas won this past Friday night over the Canyon Eagles by a score of 45-42. It was what I feel like arguably the most exciting game that I have ever seen in Demon Stadium.
It was fun. It was. I don't know that I feel quite the excitement and everything as a coach and in the in the arena as much as maybe everybody that's watching the game. But it's what I've heard over and over and over just by a lot of people of how it might have been the best football game that they've ever seen. And so glad to be on the other end of it. Glad to be on the winning end. And it was just it was fun. It's fun to watch our kids compete until the very, very end.
Coach, I think a lot of people really thought that this game would be close. I feel like a lot of people thought it could be a one-possession type game. It seems almost every year when we play them, there was a few years there where we, really took care of business and won by a couple possessions. But these past few times we played them, it has just seemed like one possession battle when these two teams face off.
It has, it was a big football game. I didn't expect it to be 45-42, but really, really proud of our offense and just what they've done in the last 2 weeks, and really just, scoring 45 points and just answered back to back. All night long, just answered. I don't ever like giving up 42 points defensively, but I don't necessarily think it was exactly that doesn't the score also doesn't quite look
Sure.
maybe what it was on the field.
Yeah.
And I thought we had some chances defensively. We did make a few stops that were the difference in the ball game. We had some other opportunities, a lot of third down opportunities that we didn't get off the field, and I think if we would have, I think it would have been different.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I think there's some times where you go back and like you said, we have our opportunities, but you can also kind of go back and look at some of these things and go, we played a team that executed like we did.
Sure.
Made plays, and sometimes it's just like you played a really good team and you battled to the point where you made enough big plays to win.
We did. We played a really good football team. And Canyon was 7-1 coming into that game, and it, is really, I thought. Obviously played good football all year long, but they were really, really, I felt, really starting to find their stride and really find their identity on offense. And it was we played a really, really good opponent, and just really proud of our kids and for just the fight that they had. Because there were many opportunities in that game, where we maybe. Could have checked it in. They score with I think 5 minutes there in the game, and there was just never any panic in our kids. Our kids just answered right back and found a way to win that football game.
I think even from the first drive of the game where Kenyon goes down and scored, and I can't remember 5-play drive or something like that. Mm-hmm. But immediately our guys turned back around and answered.
We did. They had the very first play from scrimmage was a big long run down the sideline. I don't know, maybe 60, 70 yards. We got to stop, and then we played a little stingy after that. Really made them earn what they got, but they just kept on running and finally scored, and we did just all night long. It was just respond right away. Our offense just came back and answered the call and responded. We really had a great opportunity coming out. We went in at halftime up 7. We're receiving the opening kickoff. Had an opportunity to possibly go up 2 scores, of which they kicked an onside and we didn't execute very well, and allowed them to stay back in the game. But then again, just the entire second half, just back and forth all night long.
Well, Coach, it wasn't the first walk-off field goal kick that Dumas has had. At least ones that I can remember, I think, since you've been here. I think we had one in Perryton.
We did.
I think, was that Chad's first win?
That was Chad's.
Was it his first win?
I don't know.
It was early in his.
Sure.
I know at that time that was when we were playing Perryton the first game of the season.
Sure.
So it was early in his career there.
It was.
It was a big win, walk-off field goal there. Obviously, the Decatur game was another one, and then this past Friday night, freshman kicker Josh Samaripa steps up, rips a 39-yarder through the uprights.
He did, and just an outstanding job. There's a lot that's got to go on for him to make that kick. Obviously, first and foremost, the snap's got to be there, the hold's got to be down, and then he's got to execute the kick. And really proud of him because earlier in the game he had missed 2. He'd missed 2 field goals, and just shows where his mind is and where kickers' minds have got to be. They have to have a really, really short memory. Got to be able to just get back out there and execute again, and he did. After some adversity too. They call a timeout. We snap it. He kicks it. It gets blocked. And so a lot going on for a freshman at that moment. And a 39, 40-yard field goal. So really, really proud of what he did and just how he executed that play to give us the victory.
Well, let's talk about some of the guys that helped get us there. Another freshman, your quarterback, Colton Mills, he does – if you just come to the game, you sit out in the stands and you watch what happens, kid does not look like a freshman out there playing 278 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers.
Playing really good football right now, and he is. I just think he's getting more and more confidence every snap that he takes, and he's starting to play that way. And I think the guys around him are allowing him to have that confidence. He's got some receivers that are really executing when he puts the ball in the air. He's got an offensive line that's doing a great job of pass protecting for him, giving him the time back there to throw this. Because he wouldn't have this confidence if it was another way. If he was back there running for his life and those type of things. But he's not doing that. And so the guys around him are executing and really helping him. And just really proud, of the growth that he's made. And he is. He's a real quiet kid. And so he's just he's just real even keel, which is a really good thing for a quarterback.
I don't know if I texted you this. I know that this was one of the stats that I've looked at that has just blown me away with him. He's really played in about 5.5 games. Didn't start out the season, and then came in halfway through, I think second quarter, maybe the Plainview game. He already has more passing yards in those 5.5 games than Spencer Williams had in his entire sophomore season, which after I look at that, I can't believe this because we don't sling it around. And you can even go back and look at the last 4 or 5 games and see play calling. We're still very even maybe a little still more run heavy, but he's able to make big plays through that passing game.
Sure, and I think that's also due to the success from our running game.
Sure.
I mean, anytime that, they both complement each other. And so he's able to throw the football right now because we are running the football really well, and they really get in the box and trying to stop our run game, and it's opening up passing lanes. And so he's just doing a really good job of that. And that's actually a really, really crazy stat when, because Spencer's the winningest quarterback in Dumas history. And so he's a kid that started when he was a sophomore and started for 3 years and won a lot of football games here. And so really excited about the future of Colton and what he can do for this football program.
Let's talk about those running backs. Eduardo and Luis, they combined for 200 yards total offense. That's rushing and receiving. Also 4 touchdowns. Those guys are – I don't know how best to describe them, but they're dogs back there.
They are. They're playing really good football and just both like each other really well. Both are not worried about who's getting the carries. They rotate in and out. The other one is just as excited when they do something well. And so I thought both of them did really well. Luis is also doing a great job. Catching the ball out of the backfield. He's having a lot of receiving yards, and then I thought you looked at Eduardo over the weekend and or Friday night, and he ran tough. I remember one play where he just would not go down. He was carrying 5 or 6 guys, and he didn't gain a whole lot of yards, but he just would not go down. And just a tough kid. And really, really proud of those 2 young men and just what they're doing for our football team right now.
You talk about Luis coming out of the backfield, a screen pass that he took for a touchdown. Todden was showing me some of his highlights, and so he showed me that play, and it was an end zone view of that play, and it is unbelievable the lane that Luis had to run through because of how that play was set up.
They are. I mean, execution of our offense is really good right now, and that's you can't look at just one. You can't look at just talk about our running backs. I mean, it is a team effort. Offensive line's doing an outstanding job right now, opening up lanes, and just receivers are also blocking downfield really well right now, and just a whole team effort on our offense.
I feel like Johnny Marquez again was big on 3 sides of the ball. Had an electric touchdown that. I kind of feel like just it sparked everything. It's kind of like one of those touchdowns where you go, okay, we're gonna be good. Had a massive interception that he returned deep into Canyon territory, and then as he's always been, the return game. I mean, he's just kind of something that you expect when he gets the ball. Something good is going to happen.
Playing good football right now. He's as you talk about that big long touchdown that he had at playing receiver. Right before that, he was playing safety and got really aggressive in the run game and was standing in the backfield while the tight end was running down the field wide open. And so just a great way to watch a kid respond.
Sure.
Really came off, really frustrated after that, put him on the offense side of the football, goes and scores. And so just short memory and just – you've got to forget about that last play and move to the next one, and he's doing a really good job of that and just really helping us on all phases of the game right now.
Your defense, I felt like best way to describe it was you had enough bend, don't break to win the game.
We did, and as you go back and look at the video, you get concerned throughout the game. Are we lined up correctly? Are we are they gaining yards on us because they're not where we're supposed to be? We went back and looked at that on Saturday, and we really were lined up really good, and we went and our kids were there to make plays. We didn't tackle great. We didn't tackle great on Friday night. We're trying to tackle up around the shoulder pads, and then And then third down. We had many opportunities, some 3rd and 7, 3rd and 5. If we get off on 2 of maybe of those, I just think the game's different just because how our offense was playing and how they were just really responding and scoring. I think the game could have been totally different. But we did make enough stops. You talk about the interception by Johnny Marquez. There at the very end of the game, where we stop and make them punt. That's the difference in the ball game. And so we did make the amount of stops that we needed to win the football game, but definitely got to be better, as we move forward defensively.
Well, let's talk through this end of the game sequence. We mentioned this, or I just mentioned it briefly before we got on today and got on for this. But I feel like each sequence of what happened down the stretch had to go your way to give you an opportunity to win.
Sure.
There could have been some other scenarios of things that happened if one of these things doesn't go our way, and you still are able to get a victory. But to win like we did, all of these things had to line up. So we'll start. It's a tie ball game in the fourth quarter, tied at 35. Canyon scores. I think it might have been a third down play on a really athletic run by Christian McGuire around the right side. So they take the lead with 5:26 left at 42-35.
And then just as we talked, just never did our kids think that it was over.
Yeah.
Right away we go back and we respond and tie the ball game back up. And I think that was 4th and 12. We had a 4th and 12 there, where we called the play just to get a first down. It wasn't a home run shot, but it happened that way. Eminal came open. Colton Mills finds him down there on a really good throw for I don't know what it was, 40-something yard touchdown. Yeah.
Well, let's talk through that play, okay? And you can maybe kind of run this back in your mind. He gets sacked on the previous play because I think it was maybe 3rd and 7-ish or something like that. Gets sacked. It's the first sack and only sack of the game for either team.
Wow.
And so it sets up this 4th and 12. We don't call timeout because of situation of everything else. I think we had all 3 at that point.
Did.
But you call the play. He steps back in the pocket. Canyon sends a blitz that's picked up. Massive block. I think it was Charlie Gomez.
It is.
Allows Colton just, maybe a second more to step in the pocket. I feel like he throws maybe the best pass he's thrown all season.
Sure.
Because he puts it in a spot where only Eminal can catch it. And Eminal makes an unbelievable high point catch and is able to roll over the Pampa defender into the end zone. They called a touchdown.
That was huge. If it and like you said, if it doesn't happen that way, the game ends totally different. But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of Friday night football, high school football, and our kids just executed. And when you look at that as well, a lot of different kids executed. You talk about the block by Charlie Gomez kicking out right there and getting the blitzer off the edge. Colton steps up, delivers a really good football. Eminal catches it, and here we are tied back up at 42.
And casual fan sits in the stands, watches that kind of thing unfold. But you talked about everybody that has to do their job. Even though the receivers that don't catch the ball, they're having to draw defenders certain ways. Move safeties or there's a lot that goes into a play where somebody's able to catch a seam down the middle on a pass like
without a doubt. There some of them might be there might be a route that's a clear out route, but that doesn't you got to be real careful too that you're just thinking that you're the dummy route, because that route also might come open and you've got to be prepared and ready to catch the football. And so yes, a lot. There were different things are going on to make these plays work.
So that's with 3:12 left in the game. You kick the ball back off to Canyon, and again, kind of a wild little sequence happens. You make Brody makes a tackle on the kickoff, they get called for, I think, a block in the back or a holding penalty.
I think.
So it moves it back inside the 20-yard line. And so, again, wild sequence down the stretch. They have a third down. There's a flag thrown in the backfield for maybe like a block in the back or blindside hit or something. The quarterback in that play is also tackled right near the first down marker. They end up picking up the flag, giving Canyon the first down. And so that it's kind of like, oh, what's going to happen here? That drive continues. They end up getting it again to about the same situation, another 3rd and 7 or so. And defense makes a big play to get a stop.
I think they did. I think they threw the ball on third down, incomplete, and then have to punt it there on 4th down. Yes, I mean just a stop that had to happen, And if we don't get a stop right there, there's possibility of them being able to run the clock out of the successful running offense that they'd had all game long. And so we do. We get a stop right there. They punt, not a real good punt. They shank it out of bounds at about close to the 50-yard line, and here we are. Here we are with an opportunity to go win the football game.
I made the comment before that third down play. I went back because I've watched the end of this game about 20 times. I made the comment that we're fixing to find out what Canyon wants to do here. If they run the ball up the middle, they're playing for overtime. But if they roll out and either try to run around the outside or pass, they're trying to win, or at least set themselves up to kick a game-winning field goal. And the scenario again that has to happen down the stretch, if they run the ball up the middle, you're going to call a timeout.
You have to burn a timeout.
And so they pass the ball. It's incomplete and it stops the clock.
It is, and we had thought earlier in that same drive, about using one of our timeouts, and I just didn't feel comfortable with doing it at that time. I mean, I thought there was enough time on the clock. We could get a stop, and very, very fortunate because if I burn one of those, we don't have the timeout to use there at the very end to call and to get a field goal kick.
All right, so like you said, Canyon they shank the punt. It goes out of bounds. It stays on Canyon's side of the field, 47-yard line. You've got 16 seconds left, 2 timeouts, and, understanding 16 seconds is time for multiple plays. First play is a 9-yard pass to James Coley, and 8 seconds left, timeout.
We do call a timeout, come over and talk about it, and honestly, this is what's pretty neat. Anytime, whether it be on offense or on defense, I mean, you want to do the things that your kids feel comfortable with.
Sure.
You want to make calls that your kids feel comfortable with. I mean, there's been times defensively in games where we've had a timeout, we call them over, and we ask our kids, what coverage you want to be in, because you want them to feel comfortable. Well, our offensive coach said, who wants a football? And Jacob Sines raised his hand. He said, I want it. We go back out, we call this play. And what a play! I mean, Colton Mills. I don't know if it's on the right hash or in the middle of the field, but it was a deep, long out route over to their sidelines, and again, just shows the arm strength and the arm talent of Colton Mills to connect on that. And Jacob Sines does an outstanding job to catch the football, and then we quickly run up, call a timeout. We've got 2 seconds left.
So it's 8 seconds when the ball's snapped. Again, you described the play that happens. Moves the ball from the 38-yard line down to the 22-yard line. 2 seconds left. Again, called timeout. What's talked about as you go into that timeout? 2 seconds left.
I mean, we've got to kick a field goal. So we get a field goal unit out there. We get us prepared and ready. I think it's your only option at that time. You talk to your kicker. Hey, let's go. We talk to all of our kids. We've got to execute here. We've got to make sure we get everything blocked up front, of which we didn't do real well. And so, just like anything, we go back out, get ready to kick the field goal. We do snap it. They call a timeout. We progress through the play. We kick it. They block it. But a timeout was already called. And Coach Winfrey did what everybody would do. I mean, everybody's going to call a timeout at that time. is going to try to ice the kicker. You've watched it over and over and over through every level of football. Where all those scenarios happen, where they called timeout, they missed the field goal, and so you can't ever look at it that way. But we did with the timeout being called. We've got another opportunity.
I went back and watched the video that Raymond does of the game, and because during the game, I'm not paying attention to what's happening on their sideline. I'm watching what's happening in the game, and so I didn't really see kind of how all that happened. And it's interesting because the head ref, he actually sets up closer to their sideline, I think kind of anticipating that this is what's fixing to happen. And you do see, as soon as the play sets up, Winfrey's going over there. And, he calls it before we snap the ball. But, I think kind of credit to our kids, just play it out, go ahead and snap the ball. And, again, you get redemption.
So he's got a timeout. We come back over. We tell our kicker, hey, run over there. Go over there and get a few kicks into the net. And he does. He runs over there, gets a few kicks into the net. And then, just talked about, up front again, how we've got to get this thing blocked up. Everybody's got to do their job. Let's get the snap and let's get this thing kicked. Because we had a whole lot of confidence that, we've seen it. He's done it over and over in practice. And so here was the opportunity. We go back out, kicks it. Successful 39-yard field goal, walk-off, ball game.
Coach, not only did it go through the uprights, I think it would have been good from 50 yards.
It would have. It was a really good kick.
Maybe the best leg that he has put into anything. Unbelievable. Pandemonium breaks out. Again, as many times as I watched kind of the end of the game sequence, we went back and watched the celebration. It's great watching the kids and the coaches.
It was fun. We had several. I went in there and got in the middle of the pile and fell down, and my shoes fell off. And it was fun. It was a whole lot of fun. That's what it's all about. I've went back and watched it as well. You can see some of our coaches jumping up on top of one another, and so it was just a great celebration with our kids. A really good football game.
Coach, I want to just, because I think this can be overlooked again by a casual fan, talk about the kicking battery. This was something last year that I think prevented us from maybe being able to compete and maybe even win some games.
No doubt.
Brody Robinson's your deep snapper for field goals and punts. Emmanuel Marquez, your holder. And then obviously your freshman kicker, Josh Samaripa.
Everybody's got to do their job, and it was. Last year we struggled. We struggled at times to find snappers that could put it, to get the ball where we needed it to. And so when you get ready to kick a field goal, when you get ready to kick an extra point every single time, of which we are 100% perfect on extra points right now, a lot has to happen. First the snap has to be on. The hold's got to get down and the kick's got to be made. And so these three guys that you talked about, Robinson, Marquez, and Samaripa, are just are doing an outstanding job right now of executing that and just giving us a chance to make all of our extra points, giving us a chance to win that football game there against Canyon.
Well, we win the game, and we're able to look back now, 9 games in. And we faced major adversity throughout the first part of the season. But the coaches, also the players, kept level heads, didn't give up on things.
Sure.
Saw what the end of the process was and kind of where we wanted to be. And now you sit getting ready for your last game. You've got an opportunity still at a share of the district title and, as high as a number 2 seed.
We did. We started off rough. Started off playing some really, really good opponents with a very, very inexperienced football team. But you can't say that now. No. As we've worked through the process and as every one of these games has given us an opportunity to learn. And I think that's the big thing. What are you going to do with your opportunities? Are you going to learn? Are you going to get better? Or are you not? And I think our kids have. I think we've gotten better every single game. And this one's a huge one that proves that. We beat a really talented Canyon football team that was coming in with a lot of steam. I mean, they had a lot on the line. They were playing for an outright district championship. And so now, because of what we are playing for a share of that district title now. And so I don't know if anybody on the outside would look at where we started and say that we were going to play for a district championship. But I do know who does believe and did believe that we were, and it's the people inside the locker room, the coaching staff, and our kids always believed we could, if we could continue to progress and we could continue to get better, and we've done that. And so here we are now into the final game of the regular season with an opportunity to win a district championship and clinch the number 2 seed in the playoffs.
Well, Road Warriors going to get back on the road this week, buddy. Headed down to Hereford. It is an extremely tough place to play. Demons, again, looking for the share of the title, number 2 seed on the line. What are you looking for out of tonight's opponent?
We're going to have a much improved Hereford football team playing really, really good football right now. They're 6-3, and have just. They're not the same. They're not the same team that we played last year. Started off this season with a lot of steam and a lot of success. I think at one time they were 6-0 and undefeated, and so we're gonna get a really talented team. They've got a sophomore quarterback that's playing really, really good football right now. They're big up front on both sides of the ball. And they're playing for a lot as well. When you start looking at this seeding and possibly what shakes out in the playoffs and who you play and what you do in the second round, and so they're going to be very, very motivated as well because they're playing for a lot. And so I just expect a really good Hereford football team. This is going to be a great game.
Defensive side of the ball. What do you think is going to be key for the Demons? They face this multiple Hereford offense.
Very, very multiple. In and out of tons of different formations. They're super balanced as you take every one of their formations and everything that they do. They are almost right down the middle, like 51-49. And so I think we're going to have to do a really good job. They've got a super talented quarterback and a running back that's. I think he was over 1,000 early in the year, and so we're going to have to do a good job of being able to stop the run, be able to manage our gap control defense, and then I think we're also going to have to do a good job on many parts, but in the secondary covering what they do, and then being able to possibly get some pressure and make things a little bit difficult for the quarterback. I believe if he just sits back there, without any form of pressure, I think he'll do a great job of getting the ball down the field to his receivers. And so we're going to do a great job. I think we're also going to have to do a great job of recognizing formations and what they're trying to do because they give us so many. They'll get in a lot of different empty sets and different formations of empty. And so you've got to understand, where they're trying to attack. And so that's going to be a challenge for us all night long.
Offensive side of the ball, what do you think is going to be key for Dumas to move the ball, continue to keep the momentum that you've had from the last 2 games? You scored 101 points in the last 2 games combined. What do Demons need to do to continue to score against this Whiteface defense?
I definitely think we'll have to establish the run game. Every time that we've been balanced, we've been able to to run the football and throw the football with pretty balanced attack. That's where you see the most success from the Demons offensively, and so. I believe that. Once you establish the run game, then they're going to commit people to the box, and then you're successful. And so everybody's going to have to do their job. We're going to have receivers block. We're going to have our, I think it's going to be a really, really big night on the backs of our offensive line, whether that be throwing the football or running the ball. We're going to have continued success from our 2 running backs. They're going to have to do a great job. I think, for us to have success offensively, we're going to have to to keep the football, and so ball security and not creating and not having turnovers will be very, very important.
It's going to be a fun one, and it always is. Hereford does have a good atmosphere over there. It reminds me, if there's anywhere that reminds me of playing in Demon Stadium, it's, as much as it might hurt to say it's going over to Hereford, they have good fans that come out, and it'll be a great atmosphere.
It will be, and it's been known forever. when you play in Hereford and the type of fight that you're going to get from their kids. I mean, they play the game right, and then also just riding on a lot of success this season, and so it's going to be a challenge for us.
A lot on the line.
A lot for both teams.
All right.
I think it's very, very important that we're teaching and giving kids the skills outside of this, to be good husbands, to be good fathers, to be good, to be good employees.
Thank you for watching Dumas ISD TV. Be sure to check out these upcoming Dumas ISD events.
Coach, let's move on to some quick hits. Playoff outlook. I think it's kind of fun to start looking at these things. Pretty much things are set in District 4 4A. So, moving on from here, Dumas has an opportunity. If we win, no matter what, we'll be the second seed. If we do not win, there's scenarios, depending on what everybody else does. Likely scenario in all of that is fourth seed. So that's kind of the two. But let's kind of just peel back the curtain just a little bit. Second seed opponent, if you're second seed, it's going to be Burke Burnett.
Yes, I mean, we still could. We could end anywhere still right now from second all the way to fourth. We could be the second, third, or the fourth seed depending on what happens here. And there's still a little bit, going on in that other district. I think Burke Burnett and Mineral Wells are playing each other. I think if Mineral Wells wins by 10 points, I think they're all of a sudden in the playoffs. So I've had contact with every one of those.
Okay.
But we do. I mean, we think if we can wrap up the second seed that we'll get Burke Burnett in the first round. And then if you finish third, you'll get Springtown. If you finish fourth, you're going to get Decatur. I mean that 1 and 2 is pretty much set over in that district.
Sure.
It's, who those guys are. I think they're still fighting a little bit for the third and fourth.
Yeah, so that's just a little bit of peeling back the curtain, and I think it's important also for the people to know. I mean, you have to begin to plan and look forward to these things, because if you don't, you're not going to have somewhere to play. You're going to have the worst time at wherever you're trying to play. You have to set these things up early.
You do, and it's even tougher now. When the UIL allowed the big schools to get home field advantage, those are all the places that we play, and so now those schools are usually hosting home playoff games plus all the other playoff games. So I mean, it might be a Thursday, it might be a Friday, it might be a Saturday, and so you've got to get planned. And with us in this district, there's only so many fields that are even halfway. I mean, so you really start getting off of that neutral site sometimes, because there's just not a whole lot of stadiums or fields between us.
We're not going to go out and play at Paducah.
We're not. I mean, really all of your choices are, like Vernon Childress, and then even some of those fields are starting to get a little bit too far from midway point. And then you look at some of the other ones, and maybe Lubbock, but even Lubbock is starting to get off a little bit. And you look at Snyder, in which there's a couple of fields in Lubbock, so that really helps. But those are really what it boils down to.
Well, then you start looking at not many 6A teams around here, but Friendship is one. They have, I think the opportunity at hosting probably.
Sure.
And then you've got your 5A schools who, like you said, have the hosting, and they've got 5A Division I, Division II. And then you've got all of the other teams in the area, 4A D1, D2, 3A D1, D2, 2A D1, D2. And all of those teams are looking for places to play. And the mid-place almost all the time it's going to be Lubbock or Childress.
It is. And so all those guys are looking for one, and you know, so you have the chance of possibly playing on a Thursday, which doesn't bother me right now.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I want your thoughts on this. I feel like this is something that I heard be said about this Dumas program. It was a player talking about a coach, and it was actually a player talking about Bobby Knight, who passed away this week. And he said he cared a lot about the type of players that we were, and people knew that because that's what they saw. But as much as he cared about us succeeding as players, he cared more that we were successful after the game ended. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's exactly why we're in this business. You know, I definitely want our kids. I want to improve our kids' skill set. I want them to be better athletes. I want them to be able to help their team better. But that is not the reason why we're in this thing. I mean, I've always said this over and over, you know, about the game. I mean, eventually this game will leave us. We won't have the ability to play it anymore. We all get older, and so what have we done to prepare ourselves for life after this sport? And you know, we don't have tons of kids that are always going to the next level. We don't have tons of kids that are doing that. And so I think it's very, very important that we're teaching and giving kids the skills outside of this, you know, to be good husbands, to be good fathers, you know, to be good, to be good employees. And that's our calling, and that's what it's about. And sometimes you can get lost in the middle of that, you know. And so I know our program here in Dumas, that's exactly what it's based on. Is, you know, we talk all the time about, you know, about service, about, you know, caring more about the man next to me than I do myself. Because I believe if you can get that mentality, if you can start doing those type of things, you'll start reaping. I mean, you'll also start winning, and you'll win more and more because of that type of lifestyle that you live.
One of those moments where you're able to step back and see those things is on a senior night, which was this past week for us. I think you had a really special night Thursday night with the players and their moms and their dads and their families there in the locker room. But then also after the game, having they walk the field as videos playing with pictures of them from this season. It's just kind of one of those moments where you understand the investment that's been put in, but then you're also able to see the other side about how much pride that these families have in their kids out here.
Yeah, and they do, and I think that's also a neat deal that we do here. You know, is how invested our moms get with their boys. You know, we have team meals, and the moms are in charge of it, and this is sort of their way. You know, a lot of times moms aren't super involved in football and really what's going on. I don't think a whole lot of boys are going home and asking their moms, you know, what they think about the game of football. But they're super invested in that, in our Thursday meals and this time that they get to spend with them. And then, you know, they spend they see all of our kids, not just theirs. They see our entire team in a total different light, you know. And then when you start talking about this thing getting closer to the end, and you have a senior night, and you're talking about your last home game, and now we're talking this week about our last regular season game, the moms just start seeing all of what has been invested and what they've done. And I'm just, I'm really proud that our moms get to spend that time with them and invest into this football program.
Pretty special.
It is.
Coach, let's step aside from football for a second. How about those Texas Rangers?
That was good. I didn't realize that they've never won the thing.
Oh,
I did not realize that. And so, the first time in like 60 plus years?
Yeah.
Very, very excited about it. I mean, anytime anytime that a local Texas team can win, I was excited about that, and so really, really fun time.
I tell you, about blew the roof off of our house over there.
I bet.
We had some fun there down the stretch. Burning question today. I think nobody looks better than the Dumas Demons on Friday night. I mean, the orange and black is just tough. What's your favorite Dumas Demon football jersey combo? I mean, because we got helmets, we got jerseys, we got pants. It's all everything.
We've got a bunch, and I think they all look really good. I mean, I don't know that we have a bad combo.
We don't.
All the colors go really well together. I like the all white.
Yeah,
I do. I think we look pretty sharp in the all white. But then also there's something really, really unique too about the all black. I like to put on the all black. I mean, it usually represents a home game, and so Demon Stadium's always been really special to our kids and our community. So I like that as well.
I do too. I like the look of the all color.
Me too.
Whether it's the all blacks or the all whites. I mean, Dumas looks good on Friday nights. Got a few game predictions. First, I want to just mention this past Friday because we didn't even talk about it last week, but this past Friday is what's called Snapshot Day in the UIL, and so what they do is they take your enrollment numbers on that day, the snapshot of where you're at, and they use those numbers to make realignment for the next 2 years. So we found out a lot about our district. And what things will look like football-wise for the next few years. We don't know for sure how this will pan out, but more than likely, looks like we're going to add West Plains into the district next year. Here's what enrollment numbers look like as they return in. Dumas is going to be the largest school in the district somehow with 1186, which will, again, that should firmly put us in for a Division I. I don't see that being anywhere on the edge of either one of those. No. Hereford's second largest schools, Dumas and Hereford, the standalone, two of the standalone schools. Hereford with 1174 and a half, got a half student over there. West Plains with 1162, Canyon with 1095, Randall with 1084, and then Pampa with 1056.
Yeah, so it was Snapshot Day. We anticipated that. I anticipated that West Plains. You still don't ever know. I mean, you got to what the UIL is going to do. You got to look. They've got a certain number that they want to get in each division throughout the state. They look at travel. They look at a lot of different things, and so you don't know what some of these big districts are going to do. Are they going to opt up? Are they going to let their team set, just where they are? And so there's a lot that's still got to go on before we'll know exactly where we're going to be. But we do, that number, it has been going up about 70. I think 1299 was I don't think it's going to come down.
No.
So, you talk about that. I mean, we're comfortably sitting in the 4A Division I area, and you never know. You never know where some of these teams possibly. I mean, there's been some talk that Hereford could even move over to the other district over south, and so you just never know. Never know what it's going to look like, but probably looking at we're going to at least add another team with West Plains if we keep our current teams that are in our district right now.
Sure. Yeah, because there is a lot of other stuff that goes. I mean, we're just talking about our district and what it looks like here, but there could be some shift down in the Lubbock area and
even over in El Paso, because you look at
that's right.
They're District 1, and so a lot of times those bigger school districts might no matter if they turn in a 4A number, they might keep them in 5A because it helps them with travel. It helps them with teams to play. It helps them to make districts. And so you never know what's going to happen there. And so it really will depend on, what happens with District 1 of how you make District 2, 3, and 4 moving on. And we're sort of out here. I mean, so West Texas and the Panhandle don't come together quite as easy as things do in the Metroplex.
I think, there's been some years where we've looked at this and been a little nervous, like, what's the UIL going to do? I think with West Plains kind of going up, it feels like it kind of makes us a little bit more secure to be able to, at least district-wise, to hang together.
It does, and I actually like adding West Plains. I mean, it helps me to set a schedule. I don't have to go look for more games. I mean, that sets that, and I don't have to go look for near as many games for pre-district and things like that. So
I think what will be interesting to kind of look at, West Plains already in our everything else for district play. It is going to be interesting to see kind of what happens, I feel like, with the other sport districts, because Perryton is very close on the line of. We'll see what happens with them. I think they turned in 588.
Yeah.
And so there's, I think, a possibility maybe that depending on again where that line goes and who opts up and who opts down, and you can't opt down, but who might stay in with 4A instead of opting up to play in 5A. Is going to depend on, kind of where that line is for 3A, 4A, and Perryton's right on it.
It will. They'll be close. I still personally believe that, that they'll stay 4A Division II. I don't think that number will jump quite that much, but it is interesting for our other sports.
It is for sure. So a few interesting games taking place. No confusing lingo this week between Abilene and Amarillo.
That's it.
But we've got Lubbock Monterey playing at Amarillo High.
An improved Monterey team. They started off playing a lot better, but I definitely think Amarillo High is the better football team, and I'm going to take Amarillo High in this matchup.
Chad's clinched the playoff berth. He's in.
He has, and I don't think he can improve. I think he's number 3 seed no matter what, and so he has. But they'll be traveling out to El Paso for the first round playoff game.
Yep. Tascosa going to travel play against a team that we scrimmaged against, Lubbock Coronado.
I think this one does have a bunch of playoff implications in it. I think whoever wins is in, and so it's a big game. I think Tascosa's been playing a lot better football here lately, and has got a lot of momentum and sort of hit their stride a little bit, and so I think Tascosa will win that game.
I do too. Even though they travel down and play, in Lowry Stadium, I think Tascosa's got the edge there.
I would agree.
Two teams that you've also seen, Caprock going to travel to Lubbock Cooper.
I think Lubbock Cooper's a better football team here, and I think they'll definitely win this football game.
Yeah, no question there.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
This one is a playoff game. Whoever wins this game between Plainview and Paladuro is going to get the last seed in the playoffs.
And I think this was the exact same last year.
As
they were playing, it was you win, you're in. You don't, you're not. And so it's at Paladura. I had the opportunity to watch Paladura a little bit. I flipped on the Abilene Cooper game, and so I don't know. This one's a tough pick for me because I think Paladura is better. I think they're playing better football right now, and so. I don't know. I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go Paladura in this one.
I am too.
Because it's at Paladura.
I really, if you'd have asked me this a couple weeks ago, I would have definitely said Plainview.
Me too.
But I feel like Paladura has really just kind of kicked it into gear.
I do too.
Giving themselves an opportunity here
to
win and be in, and got a home game, last game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think they may do it. This one is always kind of a fun matchup. It was a really cool game last year that they played massive snow in Perryton.
Mm-hmm.
This time Perryton has to travel down and play at Seminole.
And I think with it being, this is a long road game, and with it being at Seminole's playing really good football right now. I'll take Seminole in this one.
I think so too. That will be, I think Seminole wrap up. This I think is a seeding type game.
Sure.
Whoever wins this, I think, gets second seed in that district. So if Seminole wins, they get second seed. I think Perryton loses, they drop to third.
Okay.
So big game there in Seminole. Last one is the other district game taking place. Pampa will travel to Canyon. Still has implications on it. If Pampa can find a way, it would kind of switch some things around if the Demons are able to get a victory.
Sure, and I think this was this game was really tough in the first half last year. I think it went into halftime maybe tied up.
Yeah.
But I just been on the field with both of them. I think Canyon right now is just obviously has a little bit more momentum, playing a little bit better football right now. And so I'm going to take Canyon in this one.
It is a tall order for the Harvesters. Doesn't mean we won't be cheering for them.
Sure.
Hey, well, Coach, thanks for joining us again this week.
Thank you, Zane.
Man, what a week it has been for the Dumas Demons. Really, the last few weeks that put them and given them the opportunity to be in the driver's seat to do something special on Friday.
I agree, and I don't like I've talked about a little bit. Is I just not sure anybody saw this, but very very thankful and very very proud. Of the fight that our kids have shown, the fight that our staff has shown to just get this team better and get us in position
to win a district championship. We are in position for that and to make a playoff run.
Well, it's going to be fun.
Yes, sir. It is.
Thanks again to Raymond Brady for putting this game on, being here with us all season, and making sure that we're able to have this pregame on YouTube and also all the games on Friday evening. Kickoff is next from Whiteface Stadium in Hereford. Dumas Demons taking on the Hereford Whitefaces, number 2 seeded district on the line.
You're watching Dumas ISD TV.